YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Kelvin World One. And in today's video, I want to talk about the biggest mistakes that people make playing Sparking Zero. So let's get into the first mistake. The very first mistake that people make while playing this game is not training / not warming up. A lot of people think that they can just hop into this game and then collect dubs just like that. Unless you're cheesing or using exploits, you're not finna hop in this game and just start collecting dubs and winning like that if you're not warming up. I don't know about you guys, but I work a normal job. So after I get off of work, after a long day's work, my hands, they're slow. They're not very reactive. They're very leisurely. It's just like when you working out first thing in the morning, like you're not ready. You're not finna go into the gym and then automatically bench 80% of your max or try to bench your max off of just when you first start working out. You're gonna do a warm-up set. First, you're gonna start with a bar, then you're gonna put 245s on there, rep it out, dial in your form. Then you're gonna move on to your working set. Then you're gonna do maybe 1 or 2 hard heavy sets. It's the same thing in this game. And I know that's very weird to say about a video game, but that's how it is in this game, in my opinion. Like, if I don't warm up, I'm gonna be losing, like, a lot. Or I'm gonna be, like, losing to a bunch of stuff or falling for a bunch of stuff that I should not be falling for at my current skill level. Or same thing for you at your current skill level. Also, besides the whole warming up and getting your hands ready, you have to train to get better. Like, let's say you ran into someone and they did a certain thing on you, and now you want to learn how to do that yourself, or now you want to be like, okay, how can I combat this? I want to get to that part in a minute. But yeah, make sure you're training and warming up before you just jump into ranked, or else you're going to end up pissing yourself off and making yourself very angry. You're not going to have fun playing a video game. That's what it's all about, having fun. The second mistake that people make is not learning from your fights. Like I said, a lot of people, they'll let something happen to them in a game and then they'll just immediately write it off as cheese, or write it off as there's just nothing they can do about it. When, yes, I will say this, I'm not part of the either extreme camp where there's one extreme camp where they say, oh, there's a counterplay to everything, just get around it, this, that, and the third. And then there's another camp that says there's absolutely nothing you can do about it and the game's just broken. I'm somewhere in the middle. I think the game can be broken at times, and are some exploits and things that it's just either super duper difficult to get around, or you can't really get around it at all. But I also believe that there are some things you can get around. And what's life all about? I know this is a video about video games. What's life all about? It's all about controlling things that you can control. Same thing in the video game. If you try to worry about things that you can't control, it's going to drive you crazy. Now, what you can do is become a content creator and start talking about the things that we can't control so that Bandai can hurry up and fix this stuff. But anyways, yes, you must learn from your fights. Take that into your training and put the CPU on certain settings to where it can do the same things that your opponent is doing, like that opponents are doing online, and then that way you can learn from your mistakes and learn from your fights. You can also grab a buddy of yours and you guys can do the same thing together. You can say, hey, this happened to me in this match, I want you to do the same thing, I want to practice it. Super counters, things like that. Vanishes, I've gotten really good at vanishes, like just by myself, because I put the CPU on certain settings to where the CPU basically spams and does a super anytime they get a chance. The CPU, like, if you leave any leeway for the CPU, they'll destroy you. Yes, the CPU do be spamming. Now that leads to my third point, using exploits. Now, if you're the type of guy, let's say you got the first two things right. You train, you warm up, you're actually learning from your fights and training and learning how to like get around certain things, as people would say. But you run into a person and they're using exploits on you. Now, out of frustration, you begin to use exploits yourself because every person you run to are using exploits. It's a shortcut, that's all it is. And if you do just like in real life, if you use shortcuts on everything you do, you'll never become good. You'll never get something you never had if you don't do something you never did. And that thing that you may have never done was actually do the training, try to get better at the game. There are some people who get good, they do the first two steps, they are training, they're learning from their fights, but they begin to use exploits and they become one of those Z ranks that I make fun of or that I just make a fool out of because they may have gotten there using exploits. Although I do believe that a lot of Z ranks now, they probably have gotten weeded out by now because people are, believe it or not, people are actually getting better at the game, in my opinion. I feel like, yes, you do still run into people who use exploits and are brain dead, but nowadays it's more often than not that you run into a person that's using exploits, but is also really good at the game. And it's sad when you have to use exploits to keep your rank or keep your position or this, that, and the third, when the game is really all about fun. Why are we so concerned with keeping a position? You feel me? Using exploits is, in my opinion, it's something that will never be respected in gaming, period. Unless, like, you just don't care about what other people think. Like, fair enough, you know what I mean? You don't care about what other people think. Use exploits, do what you want to do. But in my opinion, like, I think using exploits is such a shortcut. And a shortcut you shouldn't take in a game where other people play with you, where it can ruin the experience of other people. It's kind of scum. And it stops you, it halts your progress. It stops you from getting better. Even if you were doing the first 2 steps and you began to use exploits, it stops you from getting better because now you're more focused on getting better at using the exploits. This leads to my 4th point, which kind of coincides with the last 2 points, which is striving for that Z rank. Man, oh man, this Z rank, this so-called mark of excellence. The Z rank means nothing. If you get into this game and you're trying to strive for Z rank, you're a bit of a fool, in my opinion. This is the only game that I've ever heard of where rank doesn't really matter. There are B ranks that are better than Z ranks. There are A ranks that are better than Z ranks. There are S ranks that are better than Z ranks. For some reason, a lot of the Z ranks have gotten a reputation of being the worst, most toxic, most cheesiest players in the games. They're the guys who, there's 2 types of Z ranks you get. 9 out of 10. Either 1, they use exploits and that's how they got to their ranks, or 2, they use exploits on top of having skill. So like, you're not beating them, bro. You might as well put the controller down. And there's a 3rd one, the person who's actually good and they're able to maintain their spot just by being really good at the game. You feel me? But that person is a little bit more rare than a person who actually exploits, or a person who exploits and has some skill. Z rank is the thing that makes people say the nastiest, most despicable things to each other online in the gaming space. It's something that makes you say F you and everything you stand for to a person that you don't know. You and that person might stand for the same things, and yet this Z rank, this goal to get Z rank has put you two at odds. It makes people say the most horrible, disrespectful things that they would never say to each other's faces because they would be under the threat of direct violence. That's real, that's the truth. But striving for Z rank is a fool's errand, and the only reason I thought that getting Z rank would have been good because I felt like it would have gained me credibility when I made YouTube videos. But now I know that Z rank doesn't really mean anything. I don't need Z rank for credibility when talking about this game. Granted, I have gotten Z rank multiple times, but I don't care about maintaining it. Right now I'm S2 and I'm okay with it. It doesn't matter to me. Remember when I just said that Z rank is the thing that makes people say the nastiest things to people online? The most goofy mistake you can make is getting mad on the game and messaging someone to clown or disrespect them. Now, I'll say this. Yes, sometimes we do have our moments where we might get a little upset, or we might be like, dang, like you might lose to some BS and you keep running until you literally just want to play the game. Don't clown or disrespect these people in the messages. Don't just pull up on somebody in their messages just talking crazy to them, because you know you're not going to talk to nobody like that in real life. You know that I'm pretty sure us as men, we understand that you don't just go around talking to people all type of ways, or else you might get punched in your mouth. So it's just very corny to message somebody like on some nonsense, especially if you don't have nothing to say. I don't think there's anything wrong with messaging people, but if you don't have nothing good to say, just don't say it. You feel me? That's life, bro. If you don't have nothing good to say, just don't say it. It's not cool. A man must have control over his emotions. That's period, point blank. Now, this leads to my very last point, and this kind of coincides with the other 2 points. I try to make these like go together in a way. Let's say you play the game and you get pissed off because you've been playing for hours and you haven't gotten a single dub because people have been cheesing you the whole time, and you also haven't warmed up and people are using exploits on you and this, that, and the third, right? All the points that basically said not to do, and people are basically ruining your experience. You get mad, you break your controller, or you get mad and you message someone on some nonsense. Now you got a broken controller and now you're banned from the chat. You feel me? You're banned from Xbox Live. You're banned from like messaging on PlayStation or something like that. Your problem is that you are playing the game too long. I believe Goku once said that if we train our bodies past the point of exhaustion, it becomes torture, more so torture than training. And if you know anything about fitness, you know that if you don't recover, if you feel injured, you're not recovering, you're only going to get worse. You're actually going to lose strength. If you try to train and you're hurting yourself instead of actually getting stronger, then you're gonna halt your progress. That rest day might be the thing that make you hit a PR the next week, but you're steady over here still training, grind mode. I'm gonna grind no matter what. You gotta take breaks, bro. I had started taking breaks on this game. I only really play this game an hour, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours a weekend if I can. But when I started taking more breaks, I actually started getting better at the game, because when I did play the game, I was solely focused on like one thing. Like if I hopped on the game, I might spend an hour training. If I hopped on the game, I might spend 30 minutes on this and then 30 minutes playing the game, actually like playing against people, things like that. So I'll leave you guys with this. I say this is probably the most important like part of this video. Take breaks, man. Take breaks, touch some grass, as people say nowadays, and enjoy your real life, because at the end of the day, it's just a video game. If you guys like this type of video, like, comment, subscribe. I have a Twitch. You have to follow to know when I'm live. I go live like whenever I can. It's actually how I get the footage for these videos, because my computer can't hold all that footage on it. So I just download the VODs and then I post them and I talk over them. But if you guys like this type of video, like, comment, subscribe. Love you guys, and peace.